I love that. There's something about that reflection piece, and I've talked a lot over the years about how it's so important for a business owner to take time to look back before you go forward, and that's the phrase I often say. Before you go forward, you should always go back. Like, what can we learn about the thing that we're talking about before we try to change it? And what has happened a lot lately, the more I teach, the one of the reasons I love it is because I can get hopefully more articulate around whatever it is. And this is the latest on that. That what you're talking about there as a business owner, if you're not careful, you go so fast, like what you've done. But what you carry with you is the self-image of yourself from when you started, right? So this is pretty cool, and I'm only really been able to explain it like this recently. You start the business with all these kind of views and these beliefs about who Beth is at 2017, right? And Beth gets her head down, and Beth just does the thing that she's really, really good at. She's very creative, she's very confident, she's just like, go, 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 let's make this thing happen and we'll figure it out. 22 comes around, 2022, 5 years later, the self-image that Beth has of herself is still the same as the one in 2017. So even though the circumstances of Beth's life have changed and the responsibilities have changed and the success is obvious, Beth can't see it because of the self-image that she's carried with her for 5 years has never been updated. And often the image only gets updated by looking back and actually saying, look what I've achieved, look what I did, look where I've come from, look at how I live now, look at the things I've done, look at the fun I have, look at the life I've got, look at what I've learned, look at the people I've got in my life now, look at the network, look at all of the people, right down to even it being at an event like PPM Live or any event where you go, actually, these guys are in my corner. Like, look at the 5 people that I met at that event, like they're in my team now. Like, they can help me. I can reach out to them. So all of a sudden you start thinking, actually, the 2022 Beth is very different now, the self-image that I've got. And if I continue to update that self-image because of reflection, the next big decision I've got to make, well, I'm more likely to do it with the Beth of 22 making the decision, not the Beth of 2017 that might still be a little bit, oh shit, I'm not ready for a 1.5 million business. I'm not ready to fire 5 people. I'm not ready for a second location. Well, you are. Like, to me, when I'm like, absolutely. Like, are we ready to go? And this is what I've realized with a lot of clients. I'm like, no, come on, we can go. And then you realize, no, actually, they're carrying with them the image from 2017 because they don't do enough reflection of where they've come from. And you can adapt it in your personal life, where even with your kids, it's just so important to go, actually, what did I do like yesterday? What was really cool yesterday? What was the 5 things that were the best about my? One of them put their arm around you, or one of them just said thanks, or one of them laughed when the, laughed in your ear when you were doing something. It's just like the tiniest little things that you reflect on from the day before, and you go, yeah, that's the self-image that I'm creating. So I'm wholly responsible for it. The discipline to do it is what's in question. Can I update the model? Can I update the view? And if I can, I'll carry that with me, and I keep getting my goal setting skills. I keep getting my know-how updated in terms of my business plan or my ability to market or hire people. If I keep doing that, and I add that self-image, you've got magic. And that's what you see in a business owner that just keeps going, that just is doing what you're doing.
Yeah, like I said, it was surreal to be on that stage, but I think the prep for it is what was even more valuable.
Yep.
And then after people just coming up and speaking to me, that knowing that my story inspired them or resonated with them, or they got all the feels, and whether it was the health issues or the finance or just the journey in general, of not really knowing what I was doing but doing it anyways.
Yep.
Just getting that kind of a response and feedback, like that's what it's for. Because I have been so motivated by those previous talks. I was even motivated by some of the talks I heard this year, some of my competition, and seeing, ooh, if he did that, can I do that too? Ooh, I want to be more like her in that way. And that's what it's meant to do, is to kind of pay back to the community for everything that's helped you get to this point in the first
We all
place.
need it. We all need it. And for when I look at that CEO competition, just the fact you get on stage, just to say, yeah, I'm comfortable getting up here, it's incredible what you do for the rest of the people in the room who do what you've said. I want to be on that. The number of people who came up to me and said, I want to be on that stage next year. They didn't necessarily say, I want to win it, right? That's cool if you do and what have you. But the fact that you get on stage, that's what people said to me. I want to be on that stage next year. I want to be on that stage. I want to share my story. And all of a sudden you're part of something that's self-fueling in a very, very positive, in a very positive way. It just takes one. It takes one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And before you know it, that's what you've got that the number of people who have sat on a flight on the way home from that event who said, I want to be like Beth, or I want to do what Beth's doing, or I just want to live like Beth. I want to live fearlessly. I want to live courageously, confidently, all of the things that you are, that you could see shining through on stage. And I don't think you should ever underestimate that. That's probably, in my very humble opinion, the best thing you can ever do. Being a PT is amazing. Like putting your hands on somebody and making their knee better, that's fantastic. But changing the way somebody feels about themselves inside, another level. Not even in the same conversation, in terms of your mission and your kind of, tell the story about your life at the other end. You change the way somebody feels about themselves, you're in a different stratosphere for impact that you'll have on it. And that's not to say that the work that we do as PTs isn't very, very important. But that internal thing where most people really need that help, that's the magic. And that's what you did at the event. That's the drug. You get a high from it, quite literally, doing it.
Oh yeah, I hit my standing point and I just had a huge like adrenaline rush. I was like, I hope they cannot see my legs just shaking. And I do a lot of public speaking. So it wasn't the speaking, but I think it was the stage and the room and just like a little bit of everything. The excitement.
Don't forget the smoke machine. Don't forget the smoke machine going off.
And my walkout song. I mean, it was just what a great experience.
Yeah. Good.
To be able to do.
Last couple of questions. What's the best thing, most impactful that you've learned since you've been part of the community, since you've been part of, I don't know, whether it's the mastermind or CEO, what's the biggest thing that you've got that's really helped you in your life or your business?
I mean, I think when I started, everything was for the business. And I sacrificed a lot of personal things, whether that was time or health or, money. Like we poured all the money into the business. We lived off my husband's salary for years just to get it up and running.
Yeah.
And I think now that we kind of have this established, like reassessing what I'm willing to sacrifice and not to grow more. And just really understanding what my priorities in life are. And a lot of that's come from the conversations we've had in CEO this year.
Yeah.
And instead of just goal setting, it's streamlining and setting my personal goals first.
Yep.
And then figuring out how the business can support that. Because I don't think I would have been able to sustain the speed that I was sacrificing at, and still be happy and love what I do. So trying to figure out how I can rely on my team to do the things that they need to do for me, that I've hired them to do, that they're excellent at.
Yeah.
Prioritizing my family. My girls are at such a great age. I want to spend time with them before they're too old and too busy to hang out with me. While they still think I'm a cool mom and will let me roller skate with them on the weekends and go camping. So I think it's just really having a better understanding of what I want out of life. Part of that is this business. Absolutely. Yeah. I get excited about it. I'm passionate about it. It drives me. If I had more hours in the day, I would definitely spend more hours on it. But I don't want to do that anymore at the sacrifice of spending time with my husband and my kids. So I think just having clarity on that and being really comfortable with that is the biggest mindset shift I've experienced. And I just feel like I have a lot of peace. I still work, I'm still driven. I still have so much passion. This is my happy place. I absolutely love what I've created here with my team. There's no doubt about that. But finding the balance again, because I was so out of balance for so long, is really what I think has happened a lot this past year.
I think you get permission. And again, because you see other people and you get a third voice in your conversation that says, no, Beth, look, this is what you got. You need to prioritize this, or you got to prioritize those girls, or you got to do whatever. All of a sudden you get a few people kicking you and you go, well, I kind of knew this. And I always think that you'll have knew it, right? I always, the best, I always say the best business owners, they come to us just to have their intuition confirmed. They kind of know it, but they just want somebody to go, tell me that's true. And if you do, I'm off. I'll do it. And that's what I think you get when you're part of a community like CEO, where you're being told by 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people you trust that are on the same journey, having success, living, in some way the type of life, not necessarily the nuances of life, but in terms of it being about the quality of life and about spending time with family and friends at the same time is getting into sync with this business, not one or the other. It's just how do we make them sync up? Sometimes you'll be with the kids too much. Sometimes you'll be with the business too much. And it's just that little kick every now and again to go, actually, you're out of sync here. But I think getting that permission slip for you, and to know that you've earned the right to be able to say, actually, now I'm done. And that's what most people listening to this, it's just the stuff that's piddled around in the business world of hustle and work. I get it. And I poke fun at it. The first year or two, we all should do that, where you're just like, let's go, let's just give it our best shot. But then after a while, if you're still doing that after 2 years, you're like, you're probably doing something wrong. Like you haven't hired, or you just haven't got a plan that you're sticking to, or you're just not thinking about leverage, or whatever it will be. But if you're still working till all the hours after 2 or 3 years, then and in the end, it all boils down to the courage just to make the decision that you probably secretly know that you need to make anyway. And I think that's what you do really, really well.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're a superstar. Where can people find out more about your business and just watch a little bit of what you do in your journey?
Yeah, our website is housefitstl.com. Same thing for Facebook, Instagram. We're not that fancy.
I love it. I always try to wrap up, and I would say this to you. When I get to spend more time with people, which I've obviously got to know you well over the last few years, and more hopefully over the next few years, the thing that I see with you, I always try to give somebody a little never lose this self-belief. And I wrote, the minute you came on, I don't know if you know, I write all the way through these things, and I'm taking my notes. You've got so much self-belief, you've got so much energy, and you've got so much confidence. Never lose that. That's the magic. I genuinely think behind what you do and the success, you've got so much vibrancy for life, like a zest for it and energy for it. Every time I see you, you've got that smile. Never, ever lose that. And if you keep that and you just keep doing the thing that you do, and you're learning your craft, you're learning about finance, you kind of accept, I'm not quite as good as I would like to be, but I'm going to go there and I'm going to learn it. If you keep both of those things, you can't lose, you can't fail, you won't fail because you love it. And that's the magic sauce behind what you do. Never lose that. If anything, turn it up a little bit more. Thanks for watching this video. And if you found it helpful, and if you now find yourself thinking, I wonder what else this person can help me with, head over to paulgough.com/books, where you can find my best-selling books, which will show you how to add more profit to your practice. Or send an email to paul@paulgough.com to ask about how we can help you accelerate the growth and profitability of your clinic. And by the way, if you know anybody who would find this helpful, please share this video out. Thanks so much.